Jorge. I'm so sorry I'm a few minutes late.
It's okay. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you so much. How are you?
Everything is good. It's finally good to have a chance to talk to you.
You, obrigado.
Very good. Anyway, how is everything with you? Playing shows, busy?
Everything is great. Just finished up the Alex Cooper tour a couple days ago. Now, right in the swing of things, getting ready for my solo tour, solo record, everything like that. So busy, busy, but busy is good. We like busy.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing. And
Yeah.
when did you start the songwriting for the Call of the Void?
Actually, I started it before COVID, believe it or not. I was preparing to write this record in 2019, just coming up with some ideas, nothing set in stone, but just some riffs, and pieces. And then when the lockdown hit, of course, all of the musicians started writing a record. So then I really started getting serious about writing, piecing songs together, working with different songwriters and musicians to put these different types of songs together. And yeah, so then it's just come kind of gradually over those last couple years.
Yeah. Is it on these records you have, half of it's with a vocalist, the other half is instrumental? How much different it is your approach when you're writing like an instrumental and when you think about the vocalist? What is the difference? Because I'm sure it's not easy either way. At least for me, I cannot write a song.
So for me, the instrumental music, like maybe I wouldn't use the word easy, but it's much easier for me, the instrumental stuff, because like the instrumental songs, like it's just emotion, it's like, you pour it out. And like, once I get going, I can just pour the song, into the session, and it typically flows pretty easily. Sometimes I'll hit a little block here or there, but it's just pure emotion. There's no rules, there's no times. When you get into working with a vocalist and you have songs that you want to go on the radio, let's say, then all of a sudden it says, well, it can't be too short and it can't be too long, and it has to be in this key because this is the key that the singer is most comfortable singing in. And there has to be this verse and then this pre-chorus and a chorus and verse again, and it's like the very specific song structures that work for these more mainstream type of songs. So it's a lot of rules. I don't like the rules. I like to just create. But both good experiences, both good creative expressions for me, for sure.
Yeah. And, on these records with the singers, you have like, world-class people. And, you have David Draiman from Disturbed. But, for me, she's probably my favorite singer at the moment and probably in the whole freaking planet. I'm talking about Lizzy Hale.
I knew it. As soon as you said it, I knew it was going to be Lizzy. Me too.
I was in Dublin, Ireland in December. They played with Alter Bridge, Hailstorm. And, I had seen them in February of last year as well. And when I saw that show, I was like, anytime I have a chance to see Hailstorm, I'm going to see. I don't care. I have to see. She's probably has the best vocal range that I heard in a singer in a long time. And I'm old. I'm
Well, the thing about Lizzy, she's the total package. She writes, she performs, she sings, she plays guitar, and then somehow on top of all those things, she's such a nice person.
yeah.
Like, she's actually really like a lovely friend. And like, we did a tour together, actually, Motionless in White, Hailstorm, Alice Cooper. So I have all three singers from that tour on my record. And touring with Chris and Lizzy, both, getting to know two of these, very high level front people, and just so nice, so personable, so giving of their time with their fans and other musicians. Really just incredible.
Yeah. And when you work, let's say, with Lizzy, when you present the song, she wrote the lyrics, you did. How was the approach when you invite a singer to the song that you wrote?
So it really varied a lot throughout the course of the record. Some people, like David Draiman, for example, Anders Freedman from In Flames is another one. We gave them the blank slate of the song and they completely wrote the vocal from beginning to end. So the reason why The Golden Trail sounds so much like an In Flames song is because In Flames singer wrote his vocal, you know. Other songs like the Alice Cooper song, for example, and the Lizzy Hale song was also one of these. We gave the vocalist a pretty much finished idea and said, hey, this is the song I'd like to present to you. Obviously, feel free to change it, do your thing, but like this is the idea. And so with Lizzy, that's more what it was. She's so busy. I don't even know if she would have had time to write a whole song from scratch. So I said, look, we can make it really easy. I have this concept. The melodies and lyrics are pretty much finished. Please take this and do your thing. And so she took it, put her spin on it, you know, these incredible vocal lines and ad libs and everything. So she took what I had and elevated it to the next level.
Yeah. And, you know, I'm thinking what it's like when you give, you know, Lizzy Hale or Dave Draiman like a song and you give them the freedom to do what they want. I mean, can you say no? Like,
so here's an interesting thing. So with Lizzy, I was not in the room when she recorded her vocals. With David, I was there, and I didn't really know what to expect. You know, imagine me working for the first time with a singer, and it's fucking David Draiman. You know, it's like, you know, this guy has had, you know, so many platinum hits, #1 records, you know, 20 years of success, you know, everybody knows one of the best in the business. So I was fully prepared to go into the session and say, yes, sir, absolutely, you know, what you want. But actually it was not like that at all. He's very collaborative. You know, of course he has his ideas. He knows how he wants it to sound, but anytime I had a suggestion or an idea, or my boyfriend, Josh, who was also there, like, you know, and was his idea even to have David on the track in the first place. We had an idea. He's like, absolutely, let's try it. Okay, cool. And then sometimes he'd be like, well, I don't know about that, but let's try it. You know, he was always completely open to listening to ideas and trying different things. And sometimes it stuck, sometimes it did not. But, you know, he never once said no. He's like, no, he never said, no, I'm not going to do that. This is how I want to do it. It was very open and easy and collaborative.
Yeah, because, you know, sometimes when you work with, you know, legendary people, because I think we can put Dave Draiman there.
Absolutely.
You know, I would be afraid probably to say anything to him.
I would too. You like, you know, but there was something that I said, hey, you know, like I felt, and I was like, sorry, you know, like, do you think maybe possibly, you know, maybe you want to try? And he's like, sure, absolutely, yeah, let's try it, you know. And you know, I can't remember exactly what it was, but there was one thing when I was like, hey, what about this? He's like, I really don't think it's going to work. And here's why, but I'll go in the room and sing it for you. And then you tell me if you think it works. So like, he doesn't have to do that. He can just say, no, I know about writing hit songs. It doesn't work. But he actually, you know, had enough respect for me to take his time and go, no, I'll go back in the vocal booth. I'll sing it. And then I was like, oh, you're right. It doesn't work. Move on, you know, but it was honestly, every experience I had was like that. There was nobody that was a diva. There was nobody difficult to work with. You know, the only difficulties came later from, you know, the bureaucracy of, you know, labels and managements and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, that's just part of the business side of it.
Is it hard, like when you know the people, you know, they're available and they're willing to contribute, and then all of a sudden you get the lawyers, you get the labels, you get the suit guys saying, like, no, you cannot. You know, I'm one of the persons that I absolutely, when I have to deal with suits and everything, I just get out of the room. You know, I just cannot. I don't have the patience. You know, I just don't. I don't know what to do.
One thing that I don't want to say too much, but one thing that I'll do differently if I ever do another record like this with a lot of different vocalists, because almost everyone, the only one I didn't know personally was Anders from In Flames. Everybody else I know personally. You know, I sent Lizzy a text and asked her to be on the record. You know, Same thing with Dorothy, same thing with Alice, same thing with David. And I just thought, hey, these are my friends. I'll get them on my record. I figured it would be no problem. My label is cool. If I'm going to be on somebody's record, they don't make a big deal about it. So what I'll do next time is I'll send the text and they'll say, yes, I want to be on the record. And I'll say, great. Have your management talk to my management and we will do all the paperwork first. And once the paperwork is finished, then we'll record your song. Because the way that I did it was cool. The way I did was collaborative and cool. We got my friends, people that I admire and respect, my peers. And then after it was done and we had this incredible product, then came the suits, as you say, the management and the labels and the lawyers and this and that. And like, by the time you finish with that, it's not fun anymore, So let's get the paperwork done first and then have the party.
Yeah, it's one of the things for me. It's like when you start losing the fun of it, because you see on one end, everybody is receptive, I'm receptive. And then all of a sudden you have these middle guys that their job is to make our life difficult just because they want to make our life difficult.
Yeah. And, and I will say, I understand. I have a lawyer and a manager too, and my lawyer and my manager will fight to the death for me, to do what I want, and be happy and be well taken care of and be comfortable. So like, it's part of the business. It's part of it. I understand that each person's team is looking out for their guy, and that's it, but all I can really say is the artists themselves, which is the important part, were an absolute dream. Everybody was wonderful, lovely to work with, no ego, no drama, like very, very great experience.
And on this album, you also have Marty Friedman, which must have been a dream because, Marty Friedman is just one of those guitar players that I think everyone would like to have him on an album.
Marty Friedman is a perfectionist. He likes things the way he likes them. And to have a chance, this song Surfacing with Marty Friedman was a combination of a couple different songs, that I had, I had some riffs and I sent him some ideas and he took some of these ideas and then some of his own ideas and made like a collaborative song out of it, which was insane, incredible, especially because he's in Japan, I'm recording in Nashville, and then I played the bass on it. And then he said, no, you need to get a different bass player because the bass needs to, to groove in a certain way for it to fit his vision of the song. So it was really interesting having it, the rest of the record is my vision. And really that song was like mine and Marty Friedman's vision, which is a crazy sentence to say, me and Marty Friedman, our song.
Yeah.
But what an honor for me as a musician and a music fan. It's not every day that you have an opportunity to have feedback and critique from somebody you respect so much. Usually you get criticized from people that don't know what the fuck they're talking about, like that have never made a record or never, played a guitar on stage, like those are the people usually that will give you feedback.
Yeah.
And to have feedback from the master himself, Marty Friedman, the first heavy metal song I ever heard was Marty Friedman playing guitar on a Megadeth song, so it was just a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for me to learn from somebody so great.
Yeah. And when you're working like a guy like Marty Friedman and he gives you an idea and, like he records his part and then you realize, okay, shit, I need to do better now. Did that happen?
So I got a really good piece of advice many years ago, actually from Alex Skolnick. And I was going to go do a jam, an all-women's jam, and Jennifer Batten was going to be in there. And Jennifer Batten is my woman hero, my favorite female guitar player. And I was telling Alex, I'm really nervous to play with Jennifer because she's so incredible. I don't know what I'm going to play. And he said, don't try to out Jennifer. Don't try to do Jennifer better than she does because Jennifer was the top, just be you, just do your thing. So that was really good advice for me because since then I've done jams with Steve Vai, Paul Gilbert, Joe Satriani, played on this track with Marty Friedman. And I think I would have approached the situation like, okay, let me do these exotic scales. Let me do this thing. Let me try to be like Marty Friedman for this Marty Friedman song. And I think if I would have done that, it would not have worked. It would always be like Marty Friedman up here and Nita Strauss down here, But because I got this great piece of advice, I really have just been able to bring my personality and what I do well to these situations. And so now it's, still Marty Friedman here, Nita here, but, in a more equal way where, we're not both trying to be Marty Friedman.
Yeah. And, let's talk about, being a woman in what's been a male dominated world. I'm getting old. I grew up in an era where there was a very much a macho attitude. And, now when I look back to what was happening, I feel shame of most of the people, including when I was a kid, that the way that we had to look at other people or women. And, I now have a massive respect, for people in general, but, for women, and when they try to, make it in this business of heavy metal. How was for you? Because you recently you left Alice Cooper to, to do the tour with Demi Lovato, and the outrage of people, I was like, why are you so outraged? Because, she's a musician,
musician doing a music tour. What?
Exactly. I'm like, because, and the example I gave is like Nunu Btencourt, from Extreme. He played with Rihanna, and I didn't see any outrage from anyone.
Yeah, it's very confusing why it was bad because it was me.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about that, and I've said this many, many times, is the people that were outraged, like we just spoke a minute ago about how you get critique from people that are not actually musicians. The people that didn't understand what happened last year are the people that are not in this industry. Musicians, or if they are in this industry, they're not doing it at a professional level. Because every musician that I know, every real journalist that I know, every interview that I did with a real outlet was like, what a great opportunity. This is amazing. Bring some heavy metal flair to a mainstream audience.
Yeah.
Guitar solos and double bass drums and heavy riffs. And, Demi, we all know by now, is a huge rock and metal fan. So, to live her most authentic life, express her most authentic self on tour, where for many years she was doing a gig, a pop gig, and now she gets to really express herself and headbang, and play a heavy rock show. It was
she was having fun as well.
Yes, it was so great. What a cool opportunity for any guitar player to get out there on a huge stage like that, inspire so many young girls to, pick up a guitar and listen to ripping guitar solos and heavy drum playing and heavy bass playing. What an amazing opportunity Demi gave to us to do this.
Yeah, I remember my niece, she big Cher fan, and she went to see a gig, and I told her, like, do you know that Joel Orchestra is playing guitar? And
Ooh,
and she was
good.
And she was like, ooh. And I was like, yeah, Joel Orchestra, he's playing guitar. He's like, an awesome dude. And she was like, oh no, I don't care. I just want to see Cher. And I'm like, well, you have a great guy playing guitar, so pay attention to him. And again, it's one of, I used to play guitar, I sucked at it. But like, if I was good, if I had the chance to play with Cher, with Demi Lovato, or Britney Spears, whatever, whatever artist in a big stage, I would say no.
Yeah. And also, maybe it would be different if they said, hey, you're going to play with this artist, but you can't use your own guitar. You can't use your own guitar sound. There's no solos, there's this or that. I used my Jiva guitars. I used my exact same Kemper sounds as I do on my solo tours, on my Alice tour. They hired me to be Nita Strauss.
Yeah.
They said, go out in the front. When it was a solo time, they said, play whatever you want. There was no one telling me how to play, how to do a solo. They said, we want you because we like you. Go out there and do you, So and of course there's a lot of structure because a lot of the songs are, her older pop songs, and they're more straightforward, they're more simple. But the stuff on her new record is quite heavy. There's a lot of really neat riffs and interesting arrangements and stuff. So again, I go back to, one thing that I appreciate out of all this is the loyalty of the metal fans to the cause. And the scene wouldn't be the same without people protecting the scene. So I think if people want to be upset, they're allowed to be upset. And I think once they actually take some time to understand what actually happened, they'll see it's really not that big a thing to be upset about.
Yeah, the thing that I said two things. I said, like, shame that Demi Lovato and playing in Portugal with Nita Strauss. And the other was, I'm glad Alice Cooper is not playing Portugal without Nita Strauss.
And the situation between me and Alice was amazing, very supportive. He has always had band members come and go. Eric Singer between Kiss and Alice Cooper, Chuck Garrick, even currently now with his band Viso Blanco and Alice. Chris Wise from Hollywood Vampires steps in and plays with Alice all the time. So it's really, just like the Nuno thing. It's really not that unusual. I think it just became a bigger thing because people like to get outraged, and it was a good thing to get outraged about last year.
Do you think, we're living in an age with social media that everybody has an opinion, everybody has a right to say what they want, even if they, offend other people? How do you see these, social media, thing? Because, I'm getting at the stage where I just can't stand it. Because there's so much stress over shitty things that, I just don't understand what, why. I think there's a platform now and everybody just gets really loud and,
Yeah, well, I wrote a song about it. There's a song about it on the record called Digital Bullets with Chris Motionless. And it's really talks about, these trolls online, with the firing the digital bullets. They'll never come to you, to your face, and say, you suck, you whore, like you money grabbing whore, whatever, like no one has ever said that to my face. But, you go on social media, it's like, I hope you die in a fire, like. So it's just people being tough on the internet. It's not new. It's not going away. It's just, I think one of those things you really have to, Josh, my boyfriend said it to me personally one time and it was hurtful. I can't lie and say that it was not hurtful. Of course it was hurtful. But he said, no one's coming and spitting on your face in the street, like people aren't coming to you and, like, being rude to you. It's just fake. It's just online, so people will talk online, and they have the saying, living well is the best revenge. So those people can keep spending their time on Facebook talking their shit. I will keep touring the world, eating fabulous food, staying in nice hotels, playing guitar with some of the biggest stars in rock and pop and metal. And I think that's a good compromise. I'm happy with that.
And you're doing something that you love, playing with people that you love as well. I mean, that's a dream job, no matter what people say. It's a dream job. And probably what happens a lot, it's envy and jealousy from people. I think, at least what I see, I think that's what happens. Anyway, and, playing with Alice Cooper, as its perks, obviously legendary, but it brings a snake on stage.
Yes.
What's your relationship with snakes? I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about...
Yeah, we've covered that. I have no problem with snakes. I'm not really what you would say like a snake person. Like I never had a pet snake or anything like that. But Alice has toured with many snakes over the years, literally probably more than 20 snakes that we've had on the stage over the course of 10 years, 9 years in the band. So they've all been very nice, no bad experiences. the current snake we have on the tour is very lively. He has a lot of energy. And actually, we have the moment where I have a little kiss with the snake. And it's funny because it was not planned. There was nothing in the show where they're like, okay, at this point, I was going to come with a snake and Nita's going to make a kiss face and this. But one day I was standing on the stage, maybe 3 or 4 shows in, and here's Alice, and all of a sudden you see the snake just coming to me. I was like, and then so here it comes. Finally, it was right to my face, and just as a joke, I was like, and Alice loved it. Alice loves. He's like a dad. He loves the gag. He loves the joke. So he's like, oh, we got to do that again. So now we do that one a lot now.
It's nice when those things happen. And you talked about the solo tour that you're doing. You got Casey Carlson singing for you. How was that? She has a band as well, I think, and but she was more, I think she's known for the TikToks she makes or something like that. I don't have TikTok, I have no idea, but when I saw the news, I just checked her band, checked the music that she did. How did you meet her? Was through TikTok as well, the videos? How did that happen?
So I was looking for a vocalist for this tour, and I was pulling my hair out because, like we said, Lizzy Hale, David Draiman, Chris Motionless, Dorothy, Lilith Czar, Anders Friedman, like who is going to sing all these songs? I can't, do I need to have 2 vocalists? Do I need a man and a woman? Do I need to have a growl vocalist and a clean vocalist? Is there somebody that can do everything? And then I found out about Casey Carlson, who is really obviously well known for doing cover videos. And she sings Disturbed. She sings Motionless in White. She sings Arch Enemy. She sings Flyleaf. She sings girl songs. She sings boy songs. She growls. She sings. She's like a transformer. She can transform her voice so many different ways. And I said, this is what I need. I need somebody who's like a chameleon and can adapt to all these different styles. So actually, I reached out on social media. I didn't know her. I sent her a DM on Instagram. And she wrote back right away. She's very, very excited. Actually, it's her first tour, which is crazy. She's only 20 years old and so talented. So very, very thankful that she's able to do it. She has a band called Deadlands, and they're starting to get more and more shows. So I'm glad she was able to take a month and come tour with me.
Yeah. And it gives us the opportunity as well to showcase herself, probably on a better stage. And, it's always nice when, after you being, given an opportunity as well, like to play with Alice Cooper, obviously with your own merit, it's nice that you give an opportunity to a younger singer as well to, showcase her talent, and who knows what's going to happen in the future with her.
Oh, absolutely. She is so talented. I think this is going to be hopefully a great launch pad for her to get her known outside of, more the social media world and more in the real world, and get her some real world experience too. As I was once a young musician going on tour, I did my first tour when I was 15. And I wish that on my first tour, I had somebody like me who's like older and been in the business a long time to kind of show me how to be on tour. I had to learn trial by fire, So I'm really glad for the opportunity to take such a young talent out and have her first tour be with us with a good group.
Cool. All right, Nita, thank you very much for your time. All the best for the solo tour, and hope to see you in Portugal with Alice Cooper or on your own or something. I don't think ever since you joined Alice Cooper that you guys played Portugal. I don't think that happened. So
we have played in Lisbon, yeah.
Oh,
I think maybe a few years ago, but I would love to come back anytime.
Yes. I remember I didn't go to that show. I know. Yeah, I know. Shame on me. Anyway.
Next time we'll have to do it again.
Yes, we have to do it again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. All the best, and hope to see you soon. All right. Thank you.
Bye bye.